What do you mean? I'm in charge.
No, you're not. If he's doing the recording and he's doing the editing and all that, then you're just a lackey. You're just a nothing. He's in charge.
He's not in charge.
You're not in charge. If everyone else quits and you're screwed, then you were never in charge.
You are correct.
What's up, pussycat?
Welcome to the motherfucking Work for Europe podcast, Toby.
God, I've lowered myself. Literally from day one, what's it, 5 months now? I've said no every single week, apart from like one where you pretended you didn't want me on. And now finally you like pleaded with a friend thing of like, I need you, help. And so I'm here, everybody.
You're finally on a real podcast.
Albert and Keith going to jump out and be like, haha, we actually are here. Matt just used it to get you on.
No, it's just us. Just the
Where's
two of
Trotsky?
us.
I want to be on him with Trotsky.
No, I asked him, and then he heard that you came, and he was like, fuck that. I'll drink whiskey instead.
I am literally drinking whiskey right now. We could have been whiskey buddies. Well, yeah. I'm drinking bourbon. I'm drinking Jim Beam
whiskey
out of my Maker's Mark glass. So it's a bit rude, really. I should be drinking it out of a Jim Beam glass, but anyway.
You shouldn't be drinking Jim Beam at all.
What's wrong with Jim Beam?
I don't like it.
Jim, Jack.
I mean, yeah, you can drink
Maker's Mark.
If I
Three Monkeys,
like sit down and take a glass of whiskey, it's only if I don't have anything else.
Such a baby.
But one, I like the heavy smoky ones.
The peaty ones, like the Scottish type ones.
Yes.
Islay. A lot of the Islay whiskies are super peaty.
Yep.
I prefer a bourbon over.
It's like I'm eating a cigar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes me feel very manly.
Yeah, it's not my thing. I mean, they're fine. They're just wasted on me. When you start spending loads of money on them, I drink them the same as I would a £25 bottle of
Yeah. I can only like drink one or two because everything after that is just a fucking waste.
It's because you're a bit of a lightweight.
And maybe I've been drunk like 2 times this year.
I thought you were going to say in your life. I was going to say, wow, that's real.
No.
That
It used to be fucking like 3 times a week. But
I can beat that. I haven't been drunk for like 20 years.
Really? I was really drunk.
I don't do drunk anymore. I've never in America. I thought I might, and the only reason I would have in America is because worst case scenario, something terrible happens here and I have to get home immediately. There's nothing I can do about it anyway. You know what I mean? There's no getting in a car and getting there. I'm at the mercy of everybody else. So even if I was drunk, I'd still be at the mercy of everybody else. So, but I didn't. Obviously, I didn't drink much. I didn't drink heaps, as you know. I drank some, but I was still myself. Whereas otherwise, there's always this thing. I've got full protective mode on all the time. Like if I'm away from home or at home, if something happened, and say my other daughter rang me or my wife something happened and I had to get someone to the hospital. If I would never forgive myself, I couldn't drive.
I used to not think about that shit ever, but since I've gotten a bit older and serious, that's constantly on your mind. You know,
you have to. That's what makes it. That separates you from being a father and a dad. That's the difference.
Oh yeah.
What are we talking about, Matt?
Wise words, my man.
Stuff.
Wise words. What do you want to talk about? I have a thing going on that we can talk about.
Excuse me. That was a bit rude.
So it was very rude, but
Matt, you texted me and said you've had the worst week of your life. Would you like to talk about that?
Yes.
Good, because I'm wanting to know now because I rang you because you're my friend. I was like, oh my gosh, Matt needs someone to talk to. No, I want to talk about it on the podcast. I'm like,
yeah, because you get you're gonna fucking like prepare or whatever. It's real when it's like on the podcast. So you've known that I took over a company.
Yeah. The balustrade and fencing balcony company.
Yes. Yes. So the way that goes is you take over a company from, let's say you like pick a date. So the takeover was in January, and then you start the process of getting the finances in order and everything to like actually take over. You know, you deal with the previous owner and you make a deal, you get some like investors or whatever involved if you don't have 600 grand laying around. And so that was like a really, it took almost 3/4 of a year in total to get the deal where it was good to go. And the motherfucker pulled out last week.
You've already been running the business?
Yes, exactly.
Hang on, the guy pulled out, but you've already been the master orchestrator of everything going on in the last 7 months anyway.
Yeah. So the way that goes is you like shake hands like we're gonna do this, and then like what else can you do than be the owner? You know, change things in how you would like things to go and whatever, and then you're in the process of getting fucking all the documents and lawyers and all the official things and whatnot. So we were on a path from the start that we would co-own the company for 2 years, and then I would take over fully. So 50-50 for 2 years and then buy the whole thing. And so after a month or 2, maybe 3, I was like, I'm not going to run this company with you. It's either I'm going to run it or I'm not doing it at all. So that explains why it took so long. And then, we just changed course and we put in motion that I'm going to take over the entire company. So you had to like do all the financing and all the get all the like the investors on board. And then everything was like set and ready to go. And then I think it was like an hour before we had to go to the lawyer to sign I'm going to fuck this up in English, but it's like the contract or something. It's like the deal. And then you send that deal to an official person where you can sign and it is legitimate.
Yeah.
So in half an hour before we went there, I got a call from my accountant that the one of the investors had like an extra thing he wanted to put into the deal. And that gave he's not saying it, but I think that happened. He found like his get out of jail for free card.
Wow.
And he used that. And the only thing I needed was like an extra week or maybe 2 weeks to get everything in order. Like again, basically, because he didn't want to take that deal. So I had to find other people and I'm basically asking people like, okay, I'm going to take over this company, do you want to get involved, blah blah blah, it's going to cost you this, and like that. I can't get people to get on board within a week. That's fucking impossible to do, and I tried very very hard. Like I was on the phone fucking like constantly with everyone and running the company and, all the other shit. And then I had someone the day before we were supposed to sign, and that guy that was going to like fund part of it, he just said like, I need like a few more days to look into this and make a decent decision. And he just refused and fucking canceled it.
So you've been working, have you been taking a wage from this company?
And it's not a wage. It's like, okay.
Has there been any remuneration for the work you've done?
Yeah. We call it a management fee.
Right. Okay.
So I'm basically just sending an invoice every month for managing the company.
And you're getting paid that, but now that's just suddenly dead on the floor. Like,
yeah, you're sending like an invoice, and that's just a normal wage. It's not like it's called a management fee, but it's not like fucking crazy.
Yeah,
money.
I understand. Yeah.
So, I basically been fucking working my ass off around the clock for almost a year, like 3/4 of a year. We started with the company was located in 2 places, so we had to move everything. That was just fucking stressful as shit. And then the finances of this company were a total fucking mess. This guy, he did everything we call it on the back of a cigar.
Cigarette.
That's that, like basically like that. So this kind of goes back to what you were saying, so I went in there and I was just like, okay, first we're going to move and get to one location. So we did that. Then I was like, finances, because this is a fucking mess. So we've like worked around the clock to get control over the finances, and we had that all in order and good. And so that basically also showed, like, if you get a real look into the numbers, that the company was doing, especially the last, like this year, it was doing way better than expected. And I think that once he saw that, and he was like, but wait a minute, if I don't sell it right now and I can sell it next year for, like, when you value a company, it goes like, they look at 3 years back. So 21, 22, 23, basically. And when we made the deal, that was like the end of 23. So we made a deal on 20, 21, 22, basically. And if he waits this year, he can do it. He can sell it off 22, 23, 24, basically. And he thinks he's going to get like more money. And he'll get the profit of this year, which is the best they've ever done.
Wow. So he's basically just let you come in, manage his company to the point where it's back to successful.
I'm not going to take like fucking full credit for it being a success, because how much can you do? Like these were all like jobs that were already being worked on and stuff. But, well, I definitely had a part in it. And I mean, well, yeah. Well, you wow. Like the guy from your plumbing company, he sounds exactly like this guy, you know?
Yeah. And the thing of it is, you'll question absolutely everything you could have done, should have done, maybe done differently. How could you have done this to stop that happening? Or all those sorts of things. But you eventually come to the point where you just go, do you know what? It's done now. Then I can't let my brain continue to scrap at different ways of trying to fix it.
I couldn't even fucking believe, like when that last week, especially that's what I meant with one of the roughest weeks in my life, basically.
That's super rough, man.
It was fucking horrible. And then I fucking had it, and then he fucking just declined, basically. He was like, nope, I'm not going to rearrange anything anymore.
So here's a side curveball, like a bit of a sideways thought. There's obviously hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of machinery in there, but you now have a lot of contacts for aluminium extrusions and all that sort of stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm not there in my mind yet, and I will say that this week, like, because it's been stressful as fuck. Like this entire year, basically, like from the start till now, it was pretty freaking stressful. And so once this landed and I was over the shock was gone. I was like, I got some new fucking ideas and I don't know. I just got room in my head again to move forward or something. I don't know. It felt good, basically, which is fucking weird because it's like the ground was. Do we have a saying for that in English? That the ground just disappears under you?
That's ripped out from under your feet.
I think something like that. That's how it felt. And then once you get over that, my fucking brain just turned on again or something. It was like, yeah, I want to do something different now. And well, I basically learned how to fucking take over a company and get fucked over very badly. So that's never going to happen again. So the next thing I dive into that's not going to happen again. So it'll be
well. Hopefully there's more. So, the thing with it is, one of the things that I've learned recently with companies that I've been involved with, obviously that last company and my own companies that haven't always done well and whatnot, there is always stuff to take away from it, right? But I always think about the things that I've learned from businesses that I'm not even part of anymore. Like I was in real estate for 1.5 years, and if it's probably quite easy to say I learned nothing from that, but or I'm not in real estate anymore, so that's completely wasted 1.5 years. But I attribute my ability to I've always been pretty good at talking to people and to let them see my point of view, or at least understand their point of view and show them how what I want to do is in line with that. That all came from real estate. And so the ability to sell, what I always had, I was pretty good at talking, but I learned the ability to more about how people think and why they do certain stuff. And so it is always easy to think, well, that's gone now. It was a total waste, but there's always heat. Even if you don't do something in balconies, you probably made contacts or learned a whole load.
Definitely,
but it's just dirty when that stuff happens, and it just makes you think. But do you know what I actually think about that stuff? I'm glad I'm not in bed with that person anymore.
Obviously, and that was the whole thing, because the second I said, like, or not the second, it was like the moment when I realized I'm never gonna fucking run a company with this guy. Like, not for 2 years, not for a fucking month. I'm gonna take it over completely, or I'm not gonna do it. And that should have said more to me than it did at the time. Because if I look at it now, I think this guy was a complete narcissist. Like the actual real what's it called, definition of a narcissist. It applies fully to this guy. And I don't even care if he listens to this or not, by the way.
Doesn't sound like there's any love lost there.
No.
I wouldn't worry about
can you
it.
fucking imagine? Like, no.
Yeah, I can imagine. I've got a bit of an idea what exactly what you're talking about. It is crazy, isn't it? It's just how people can. Do you think you had this as an idea already, or do you think this was just
I think it because the more the end was coming, like for him to completely move out and the deal being done, he kept getting more greedy,
right?
Like in dealing, and there's like a shit ton of old how do you call that, old metals that you can,
Scrap.
That's in, like, yeah, scrap. That's basically a way, like in Holland, is to get some extra money. If you save that up and you wait for the right price, and then you'll take it. That stuff just vanished. Right. There was like heaps of it, and it vanished. So you could see he was trying to. In my opinion, he was like getting greedy or something. And then the only thing when you're dealing with someone, they say things. And then they do things. And if I would have looked more at his actions rather than listen to his talking, I could have seen this coming. That's what I learned. You need to fucking look at someone. Don't say anything. Just don't listen. Just look at his actions, and his actions will tell you what their real intentions are.
Yeah, it is easy to say that beforehand, though, and you only learn that stuff by first-hand experiences. Someone could tell you those things, and you never learn it. Yeah. You actually have to get stung by that. I mean, the amount of things customers where now I'm obviously running this plumbing company again. Now customers will contact me, and just the questions they ask and the way they talk, there's little alarms in my head that go, "Nah, remember that customer that was exactly like this," and you just kept telling yourself, "It'll be all right. I'll just watch them. I'll be careful with them." Blah blah. You didn't get paid. They were never happy. They end up causing you so many issues. You just wished you'd never actually started the job. And for years I would say, "I'm never doing that again." And then another one would come along. I'd be like, "Nah, I've learned this time. I'll know to keep a bit closer eye on them." And I get to the end of the job and I think, you didn't learn anything because you did it again. And so this time I've literally, and I am too old now to let people. I'm nobody's bitch anymore, except Katie's, and I just won't. So I've just had too many people already contact me about, and they just drop a few little odd comments, or they rock a cagey about how they want to talk to you, or what they'll let you know, and I just go, "Okay, thanks very much. I'll think about it." And they go, "Oh, well, can you come and quote?" "I'll have a think. I'm pretty busy," because I just think, no, I can tell straight away. I don't want anything to do with you. You are going to be a pain in the ass. And right now, if I miss out on this job, it doesn't matter because I'll have another job. But in 3 weeks' time, I might be absolutely pulling my hair out going, why the hell did I take this job again? I never, ever should have done it. So, I mean, I wasn't going to tell this story, but I had this guy, and I'll only tell part of the story because I've got no interest in throwing people under the bus. But I got asked to make a load of products for someone recently, and I made the first 20 batch of these products, and I went over and above. I did way more than I was expected to do, but I'm one of those people I have to see. I want someone to look at something and go, "Oh my gosh, I didn't expect it to be anywhere near this good." So I spent much more time on this than I should have done. And they were only little products. They were £5 a piece. And I felt like they were probably worth double or triple that, but I'd agreed to 5, and they'd agreed to a very low end, like a cheap product, right? But I couldn't bring myself to do it. So I spent much more time, made them really quite pretty. And so they were still £5 a piece. And this guy rang me and had the audacity to say, "Well, to be honest, I feel like they should be more like £2 or £3. I've looked at them. I don't actually think I think they're too expensive." And I laughed and said, "Mate, get them from China. AliExpress, if you want them for £2 or £3, you won't even get them from there. These are handmade products. You got to be joking. And he was quite patronising. He was nice enough, but he was rude in the same way. And he said, "Look, I've said I'll have them now because my problem with this, I said your business partner commissioned these and told me what he wanted, and I've made them just like that, but better. And you're now telling me that they're not good enough."
It sounds like a salesperson.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. This guy was just trying to. He's got a business, and so he's trying to make the most profit possible.
Yeah,
and so he's
downplaying.
Yeah, so he's saying to me, "Oh, I've got a bit of practical knowledge. I know about this." And then he dropped the name of a guy I know quite well that I trust. And he said, "Oh, I spoke to this guy too. He's quite a big name, and he said they're not worth that either." And I laughed and said, "Okay, good friend of mine. I'm going to give him a call." And the guy went, and so I did. I rung him, and I chat with him, and he was like, "No, man, that's not how the conversation went at all." And he'd been shown this product when they'd asked me for a progress photo. I said, "Well, they're not finished." I said, "Yeah, well, can I have a progress photo?" And they showed this progress photo to my mate, and didn't tell him it was a progress photo. Made it sound like it was a finished product, which is ridiculous, right? But so they were rough. They hadn't had any grind in that, and anyway, this guy on the phone call said to me, "Look, they're not what I said they were going to. They're not as good as I was hoping they'd be." And rah rah rah. Which, to be honest, they're awesome, and I really like them. But he said, "We said we'd buy them, so I'm still going to buy them for £5." And I said, "Let me do you a favour. They're no longer for sale."
Oh, really?
And he goes, "What?" I said, "They're no longer for sale to you." And he goes, "Oh, well, I actually need them by the end of next week." I went, "Better find some from China then, buddy, because these ones aren't for sale for you." Anyway, have a nice week. Bye. And hung up.
So you have some stuff for sale now?
Well, no, I actually said to him before I hung up, I would rather throw these in the bin than let you have them for £5 each.
That's very
and
good.
I said, in fact, I'm just going to give them to my scouts. I'll let them all have one each rather than let you have them. And he was absolutely flabbergasted. This guy, I just thought, I'm nobody's bitch. For £100 wasn't even worth my time. Yeah.
I just want to know what they are.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about it later. The point isn't that what they were or who the person was.
Yeah, I know.
The point was I've spent too many years thinking, try to keep the sale alive, try to get this, make the person happy, all this sort of stuff, and you get to a point where you realise you can't make everybody happy, and actually some people just want to whine and bitch, and so I would rather drop. And it was only £100, but even if it was 1,000, I actually think I would have just said to the guy, "Do you know what? Shove the grand up your ass. I've got no interest. I won't have your pity party. You saying, I'll buy them because I said I will, even though they're not very good."
That's also a fucking mistake I made in this process. One of the biggest, I think, is it was not a pleasant time. It should be a pleasant time, but it's not. Taking over a company is not a fun thing to do. Like when it's yours, then I imagine it's very, very fun. But the process is actually pretty terrible. And the big mistake that I think I made was I was not ready to walk away from this deal.
Oh, so you tried to keep a hold of it.
Exactly. And then I accepted things like also like behavior and stuff from him. I was like, okay, fuck it. I'm just going to think practical about this. In a month, he'll be gone. And then, it'll be mine, and just let it go for the sake of it. And I think that's a mistake. I think the only, like a good deal is one that you're ready to walk away from.
Yeah.
You can't make a good deal if you're not ready to step away from it.
And the thing is, often in a deal, the most powerful person is the person who's least invested, or at least appears to be least invested. Mm-hmm. And when you're desperate to keep it alive, it gives him all the power, which means he keeps doing things like taking the scrap and doing stuff that you go, normally I'd be pissed about that, but it's all right. I'll leave it. He'll be gone in a month, and then we can deal with that.
Exactly.
But, I've felt that pain many times over the years when you're sort of trusting someone or you're trying to kind of just get it over and done with. And you often get to the point where you just go, man, I should have cut this off at the feet a long time ago and just said, you know what? I'll just lose whatever I've lost already. I'm not going any further. Because if you often look back and go, well, I'm way worse now than I was 6 months ago. And 6 months ago, it already felt like I was too far in to stop. So I wish I had to stop 6 months ago or whatever the time frame was.
I feel that I should have had that as well. like more of that because.
Well, you might do it the next time round.
Oh, definitely. Like, I have some ideas. I've not worked them out yet, but there's some other companies that I'm like interested in, and that's the first thing I said to my wife as well. It's like, I'm not stepping I'm not gonna work 1 hour for the company unless we have a deal on paper ready to sign. Just like be hard before you fucking invest 3/4 of a year of blood, sweat, and tears in it.
Yeah, I'm super surprised that that's even a thing. I've never heard of a business being transferred over like that. Normally, the deals are all signed and all that sort of stuff before anyone does that, as far as I know. I don't know if it's different where you
It's just that company needed it. He was desperate to sell. He needed help with moving, and I don't think he planned like this entire move.
Right.
But along the way, he just got this presented on, like, he just saw the opportunity and fucking took it at any cost, basically.
Right. And then as it got near and realizing or being real, he was like, hang on, I can't let my business go. I've put all my time and energy into it. I can't do it. And then this just gave him the opportunity to step out.
Yeah. And
that sucks.
Kind of fucked me over really good, basically. Like, I'm laughing about it now, but it was fucking horrible, man.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Well, that sucks balls, Matthew. I'm very sorry, mate.
I have, and that's also I kind of surprised myself, like how fast I got over it and start like getting all excited about new things again. I'm not even. I wasn't worried for 1 second, like about my like income or am I going to manage it or am I going to, it's just one fucking phone call and I have a new job. It's not hard. Like in Holland, at least, it's not hard. If you don't have a job, you don't want to work. That's how it is over here now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they are saying unemployment's ridiculously high everywhere. So, I mean, some people can't find work, but then they keep saying unemployment's high. But then everyone I speak to is like, I'd take going tomorrow if I can find someone who's actually got half a brain.
Yeah, exactly. And I actually found something very good, and I'll only have to like actually be there and work for 4 days per week. So I have 1 day for myself.
You gonna tell us what it is?
It's I'm not gonna say it's like a temporary thing, but it's just I'm going back to high-end welding again. So yeah, just like how do you call that? It's like for yourself. So they're just gonna hire me. I'm not gonna sign a fucking contract. Yeah, like that. And in the meantime, I'm gonna talk to some companies again to start this whole fuckery over again.
You know what the funny thing is, though? I know there's often big money in that sort of stuff, but one thing I feel like I've learned relatively recently is you sort of aspire to be management and aspire to do this, that, and the other, but there's so much less stress in working for yourself. And if you're getting paid well, when you actually sit down and add it up, you sometimes think, man, like right now I'm earning more. I earn like more in. I get paid like if I worked every day, right? I would earn more than double what I was earning before in my management job. If I worked every single day. Yeah. But I'm trying not to work every single day. So
do you know what? I just learned that I cannot work for someone anymore.
Yeah, I
can't. My fucking brain is just not. I can't do it because I'll get ideas. And I'll just feel like I'm trapped or something. I don't like it. I just want to have the freedom to do what I want to do because I always think that what I want to do is better. So, yeah.
We all do, right? That's what entrepreneurs are for. We spend our whole time thinking I could do this better.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm going to show people that. Yeah, first I have to
find something else. What's your wife saying about it?
She didn't take it as well as I did. I think that women are wired differently. She was so sad. It was that made my week even like partially it was because I was sad and stuff, but seeing her like that was the worst thing. I don't care if I'm sad. I'll get over that, but seeing her like that was just terrible. Yeah, well, she's still having a hard time with it.
Women worry more about where the next pay packet's coming from because they're thinking, like Katie's the same, right? She's always hated me being self-employed.
Yeah, my wife is almost at the point where even now, because this happened, and some people, might be like sad for I don't know how long or whatever. I just had this one bad fucking week, and half of that week was trying to still salvage the deal. And when I realized it was like it's not gonna happen again, it was like, go, okay, fuck this, I'm gonna do something else. And then I was like, within a day, my income is secure again, and yeah, on to the next.
That's the thing about people like us, right? I don't stress about money, and I never stress about money, whether I've got it or not. And so that's not sounding big headed like, oh, I've got loads of money, because I haven't. I've never been rich. I've never been wealthy, but I've always, even when there was nothing, when no one else had work, we paid our bills every month. And we paid our bills every month. One, I believe God had a lot to do with that. But a part of that is to do with the fact that I've always found, I'm just like, well, man, I'd clean toilets. I'll do whatever the hell I have to do. I'll do anything that other people won't do if I have to.
Exactly.
And so even the kids have said to me, well, like in the past, like, yeah, but you could, like, I remember one of my kids, I think it was my oldest daughter, talking about getting a job. I said, it's all right for you. You could walk onto any building site and get a job by that afternoon. And she was right. That's exactly, I genuinely believe if I had no work, if it got to 4:00 in the afternoon, I was like, man, I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. The next day I would just get in my car and I would just drive around until I found people working.
Yeah. I used to think, like, I have the same thing. I used to think that was like misplaced self-confidence, but it's not. Actually, I know just there's a shit ton of things that I can do, and and I just think, like, if this doesn't work, that doesn't work, I could always do that, so I'm good. Yeah. I don't worry about that. And you said, like, God has something to do with that. You can call it God, call it whatever. I always think, like, if I just want to get to a point and I trust that the way there, I don't know, it's just part of the, call it a journey or call it whatever. Is it left? Is it, left, right, down, under? It doesn't matter. I'll get there. And maybe I'll have to do some adjusting or, be sad for a fucking week. But I've learned a lot of shit, I've learned a lot of things, and the next deal that I'm going to make is going to be way better than this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get there.
But I mean, so you make a cake, right? There's a whole load involved in making a cake. It takes sometimes hours and hours. And then, or you make a cupcake, right? It doesn't matter if you make a massive cake or a cupcake. It's the same amount of time to process the whole thing. You get to the end and you eat the cupcake, but you have no idea until you're eating the cupcake actually how good the cupcake's going to be. Exactly. And so you that year you spent in that business, you might find what you learned everything you needed to know about taking over, or what you did wrong in that business in the last week. You really didn't learn anything that was useful to you during the entire year. No. You actually learned and were able to disseminate and do a sort of post-operative sort of autopsy on that whole year or 7 months or whatever in that week. And then you get to the end of it and go, okay, learn what I needed to learn. Now what?
Yeah. So I'm not going to do that again. Yeah. So, right. Yeah. And the thing is, a lot of people, like, also in the process, a lot, like family, friends, the in-laws, everyone was like, but you're not into balconies, you don't know nothing about company. I was like, but it's a new thing. So of course, like,
you're not into balconies. What are you talking about? I read Balcony Weekly every week. It's my favorite magazine.
Like, do you, like, if you start a new thing, you're gonna have to say yes to the stuff you don't know. And maybe just act like you do and learn along the way or something. Because if I already know everything about it, it's not a new thing. Mm-hmm. So of course you have to, say yes to stuff that's new to you. Well, like, it's how do you call it, contradictory or something?
I don't know what you were trying to say, but 100%, I'm with you on that all the time. Like, you get into something for 5 minutes and you think, wow, this is cool. And then next thing you know, you're starting a business in it, or like you say, you're trying to buy a business in it or whatever.
Yeah.
You have to, you just learn about other stuff. It's why Katie says I'm a prolific business starter. It's because I do something as a hobby. I love it so much. After about 5 minutes, I'm like, how can I make money out of this? You just get into whatever it is. I mean, I've hung around in people's workshop. I've done like jobs, plumbing jobs or whatever jobs in people's other businesses and walked away thinking, I could do that. Because it's a business I know nothing about, right? Absolutely nothing about. This is like an example. It's the worst business that you'd ever want to start. I don't even know why. But so there was a company that I did plumbing work for. And when I was chatting with the guy, I was like trying to work out what it was. I was like, what is this coloured stuff? And it turned out they made, do you remember handrails in the 70s were like steel handrails with like a plastic cover?
Oh, Lord, yes.
This guy still makes that shit. And they sell it to the military bases and stuff like that. They still use it.
Oh, I just held those
time.
Like yesterday. I saw a railing like that. It was like very old, like 70s, maybe 60s, 70s.
Well, so there's this company still making. He's like one of the last companies in the world still making it, and he's just got rolls of this stuff. And so he's the only person who still makes it or gets it made. He knows how to install it, and basically he goes onto these military bases and stuff like that. These companies that need this specific non-slip handrail type stuff, and they're not looking for posh, or I don't know why they specifically choose this, but he still does it. And the guy owns like 7 houses, like rental houses, and he owns like, he's not short of a couple of quid. But I left the place. I thought,
that's very cool, right?
What do I know about handrails? I'm like, fuck all, Toby. There's one left in the world for a reason. Don't even bloody think about it.
But like, imagine being the last one. People probably told them like, get the fuck out of this business. They all have aluminum new powder coated stuff now. You don't need this anymore. But he's now the only one, and he's making a shit ton of money.
Yeah. Weird, eh? There's not enough place for the amount there was in the 70s, but now this one guy at the back of Suffolk is making them and shipping it all around the world, and he goes places and fits it all.
Yeah, that's great.
It's insane, isn't it? Anyway.
So, that was the fucking news flash.
There you go. I was worried you were going to tell me you're going to get divorced. I said to Katie, it won't be. I said, his wife is just like you, darling. Yeah. The only way she leaves that marriage is dead.
Yeah. That sounds worse than it is. The only way I'll leave this marriage is dead as well.
Well, yeah, either way around.
Yeah.
My point isn't that we're going to kill our wives. The point is that there's only
you made
one way
it sound
out
like
of this.
that.
I know, and I like to say that because it sounds like a joke and slightly
Very
threatening,
funny.
so she knows never to leave me.
No, I'll never get a divorce. Fuck that.
Should we end our sad conversation and have a conversation about America?
America.
Yeah. So what was your thought process? First time at Blade. How many times have you been to America before?
Nope.
No. Okay,
Never.
I think I knew that. What did you think of America for starters? The very small amount we saw of it.
It felt so huge, though. It was a very small amount of it. I loved it.
Yes,
I love it.
I'll be honest. I wondered whether this conversation was going to be you saying you're moving to America.
I keep getting this ad on Instagram from, I don't know why. I think it's because I filled in like a form or whatever, like while getting the tickets and stuff. But I keep getting like this thing, like, you want to work and live in the USA?
And you're like, yes, leave me alone. My wife won't come though.
Exactly. And this is exactly what I think every time. I'm like, yes, but I'll never do it. But I want to. Yeah, I like the vibe there, basically.
I remember my little brother going over to America, I don't know, 7, 8 years ago. And he come back and he said, Toby, you can literally smell the hopes and dreams. It's like in the air. They don't call it the land of hopes and dreams for no reason. It's amazing. I was like,
right,
you've just been sold. But it is a bit like that, right?
Like I get that. Like, I'm not like the land of the greatest nation of all. Not like that, but this I call it the sense of freedom or something.
See, I am sold on that. Did you hear the work for episode for the
4th of July?
4th of July, Brian's episode. I listened to the first half of that. I was like, I want to be American. Right. I get sold on everything. This first 10 minutes of that whole thing, I was like, yeah, I'm American. Just for today, I'm taking it. I want to celebrate American.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah, I get that. I get that feeling so well. And
I want guns. I want to carry a gun everywhere I go for no reason.
Yep. Yeah, for no reason. No, well, it's not for no reason.
It's no reason. I will never use it in real life, apart from to shoot tin cans on a fence. But
It
I
depends.
want to carry one just because I want to.
Yeah, how do we call that? We talked about this. It was like there's a big fucking portion of fuck around. No, yeah, fuck around and find out. That I
Yeah,
love
there
that.
is that. There is a lot of fuck around and find out. But like the whole point is, no one should ever need to be shot, right? Like
Exactly.
I would, and my point is, I would hope it for never ever to be used, to never be in a position where I'd have to use it in anger.
Mm-hmm.
The point is, it doesn't mean I don't want to carry one. I just think
Well,
they're
do you
awesome.
want to get into this? Are you like Second Amendment? Do you believe in that and the reasons behind it?
I believe some of it. I'm not. Look, maybe we shouldn't get into it because you are proper a deep conspiracy theorist freak, and I'm not. And for me, I believe enough of it, and then I see some of it and be like, "You're all lunatics." Just relax.
I can break it down a little without getting all
I don't want to break it down. Let's talk about America, about the guns, though. Let's talk about America.
Okay.
What did you think of IHOP?
Meh.
I felt like
Yeah.
I had to go, right? I saw the sign IHOP, and I was like, I've seen that on one of the kids' TV shows. I have to eat in there.
Mm-hmm.
And we
was
did,
it?
what, 3 days there? We ate breakfast there for?
I did. Where, like in Atlanta?
Oh, no, you weren't with us.
No, I just went there once with my dad. I was like,
Oh,
what the
I
fuck
completely
is he talking
forgot you
about?
because you didn't stay with us. I
No.
forget you didn't stay with us for the first bit.
We had,
Right, we ate there 3 days in a row, 3 breakfasts in a row,
Mhm.
and the first time I'm a coffee snob, right?
Yeah.
And I hate the
Well-
word coffee snob because it makes you sound like because most people that say they're a coffee snob have literally no fucking clue what they're talking about when it comes to coffee. Someone introduced himself to me as a coffee snob the other day, so I asked him what his favorite coffee was, and he was like, "Yeah, I got a nice Colombian." I go, "Oh yeah, is it a washed? Is it? Tell me about the roast." Yes, really nice. Yes, but what is it? A blend? Is it a single? It's a really nice one from this place I buy from online. I'm not really definite on that one actually. Normally I know a lot about it, but I'm like, you have no idea what you're talking. You just got stumped, and you're not a coffee snob. You have no idea. You just like that term. It's a bit like I can't really use. I'll use the word entrepreneur in a conversation, but I will not call myself an entrepreneur as a description for myself.
I don't
because
even
every
like the
moron
word.
on Instagram uses the word entrepreneur. That is not entrepreneurial at all. So I'm not getting into that. My point is, I'm not actually a coffee snob in inverted commas. I'm just educated on coffee enough to understand what I like. Now, so we go into America, and now I do know there is some good fourth wave coffee shops there, some roasters, because I listen to a few podcasts that are based in America. Now,
Okay. I don't
I
want
didn't
to
have
hear
my
any
car.
American talking about coffee ever again because their coffee is fucking garbage
dirt,
shit.
absolute dirt. So I
everywhere.
go, but I have to drink coffee in the morning. I'm a drug addict. I will get
Same.
horrific headaches if I don't drink one first thing in the morning. And I drink my coffee for taste, not for what it does to me. But if I don't drink it, it'll get to about 9, 9:15, or probably a bit earlier than that some days. Sometimes I wake up with a headache, but I'll get to a point where I've got a headache. And if I leave it too long, it doesn't matter what happens. I'll get the coffee and it will subdue a little bit, but it won't fix it. Whereas if I get it quick enough, it'll fix it completely. So I have to drink it, regardless whether I like it or not. Now, I still won't drink freeze-dried crap in a can, like spoon-fed shit. Like, well, I guess if I had to, I still would, but I haven't in 20 years. And so we went into IHOP, and I was like, "Can I have a black Americano?" She goes, "We just do pot coffee." I'm like, "Oh god."
But then you'll find out
Okay.
that the pot coffee is actually like one of the better coffees there.
Well, it wasn't a better coffee, but it was. So she gave me this coffee, and the first few mouthfuls, I was like, "I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can do it." But I started to. This is going to sound wrong. I started to almost fall in love with the coffee, and not because I enjoyed the flavor so much. It was because in my head I could treat it as a different drink. Weirdly enough, it was a bit like the difference between drinking I don't know, like an IPA and a lager. So like there were different things,
Yeah.
and so I started drinking this thing. By the time I got halfway through the cup, I was like, okay, this is bearable. I drank it. And then I realized I poured myself another cup because it was in a pot. And I thought, why am I pouring? Maybe even Bjorn or Jamie said, why are you pouring yourself more? I can't remember. Maybe I just thought it. And I realized I drink coffee because I love to drink coffee, but it runs out so fast. Like I do a cup, it's done. And a meal's not done yet, or whatever thing I'm accompanying it with isn't done. Whereas a lot of people will drink like 3 cups of tea in a row or smoke 5 cigarettes in a row, right?
That's
And
what
so-
I'm doing now.
Yes. So I actually enjoyed the fact that there wasn't a whole lot of coffee in it, so it wasn't that strong. But two, I could drink like 2.5 of these cups during my breakfast, and it just accompanied the breakfast the whole way through. So
yeah,
like as a different product,
it's like a hot drink.
Yeah, it wasn't. Something. There was no enjoyment to the flavor, but I still found it somewhat comforting to drink it. But I didn't actually find any good coffee. The only good coffee I found was given to me in a bag by Lawrence Lake, Maritime Knife Supply, medium roast coffee, which he sent me home with. Now it's old. It's like much older than I would normally wouldn't drink anything more than about 2.5 to 3 weeks old. But it's still, and I'm drinking it as a French press, as a cafetiere. So it's better. It's fine to drink it that way. But,
all these fancy words.
Well, no, French press.
Question.
Anyway,
coffee question. Are you like one of the guys that you have these fucking Instagram reels where they use like all sorts of fucking machinery and they'll fucking use one of those things with the threads on it and they'll steer the how do you call it? The ground
distribution.
beans. Yeah, and they
I have a
press
distribution
it down. Really? You should make a reel about that.
I have distribution tools. I have
like one of these press thingies where you just give the right amount of pressure on the thing.
No, and I don't have that because I did a bit of messing around with tamps at the start when I first started doing this, and I felt that I could get better. I actually watched the James Hoffman video where he went through all these things, and I had messed around with a few of them, and I felt like I got my best coffee, my best consistency, as in like consistently got the same flavored taste of coffee, if I just double pressed. I pressed hard once, let off a little bit, and then pressed again. And James Hoffman did a video, and basically people used to do like a 7-degree turn and all that sort of stuff, and basically said, this is all bullshit. It doesn't make any difference. You almost can't over-tamp it, but you can under-tamp it massively. And so there's another guy on YouTube, I can't remember his name right now. He did a load of actual, real, genuine testing. Hundreds and hundreds of cups he made with a refractometer and and suspended solids and all that sort of stuff, trying to work out what was best. And he actually came to the same conclusion that I came to 6-7 years previous, without all the testing, just flavor. Bullshit. No, you get 2 good tamps, push down hard once, let off, push again, double tamp is whilst a single one should be enough, a double just kind of makes sure that it makes it more consistent. So yes, distribution is very important. And if you don't use a distribution tool properly, you can quite easily end up with clumping. And if you end up with clumping, you end up with channeling. If you end up with channeling, you end up with under-extracted and over-extracted beads.
Fucking hell. So what do you think about, like, my coffee machine is like a Jura? Is that, do they have that over there? The brand, Jura. That's not a thing over there. Is it Dutch?
No.
It's like it grinds the beans and
you
can make
cup.
like a, what?
A beans a cup. You put the beans in the top of the machine. It grinds itself, spits out a black liquid.
Yeah.
I mean, if you spend $2,500 on one, you'll get a reasonable one. Outside of that,
I had the first one I bought was one like that, but then secondhand, so I didn't spend $2,000 on it. But it was from a guy that refurbish those machines. So, but since I've had that machine, I cannot enjoy any other coffee, like lesser quality coffee, and so we had
that makes me happy.
Yeah, well, we had an Italian truck driver at our company, and I also bought like a coffee machine for the company there, like the same one, because I couldn't fucking stand the fucking garbage that we had, and so I asked him, like, do you want a cup of coffee? And I gave him like the normal coffee. You also can do like an espresso. And
espresso.
He was
not got an X in it.
Oh, espresso.
Espresso.
Okay.
Espresso is a brand.
Okay, whatever. And then the guy he took a sip of the coffee and he was like, ugh, doing that face, you know, and he basically tried to explain to me that even that coffee that I enjoy, he was like, that's absolute garbage. Absolute fucking garbage. And then he even tried the espresso, and he liked that better, but he still thought it was garbage. Because for the Italians, I think that's like
I don't know if that means nothing anymore. Like, just because Italian coffee was meant to be something, Italians are like everybody else. Tiny percent of them know what they're talking about. The rest of them are just people who drink shit in a cup.
If you order a coffee and you call it a coffee in Italy, you'll get an espresso.
Yeah, is that right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never ordered a coffee in Italy.
I did. I was annoyed. I was annoyed because it was just one sip.
And then you needed a poo.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing with those bean to cup machines is, can you adjust the grind on them?
Yes.
You can't, can you?
Yes.
Oh, you can.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
You can adjust the water, the temperature, the yeah.
Right. So you're the problem, not it. Then it sounds to me. Although that said, are they a conical burr or a flat burr grinder?
Come again?
Is the grinder a conical or a flat burr?
What's the difference?
The burr shape, the actual burrs, the burr head, the heads that grind the coffee. Anyway, so
Never looked at it.
Right. What, you don't adjust them or clean them?
No.
Right,
No.
okay. So you're the problem, possibly not the machine.
Okay.
Although the machine itself is probably still the problem, but you probably could get a better coffee out of it by doing some more research.
Yeah, I know that. I know this brand is the one that it's like the fancy brand or something. It's like everyone, and there are like Philips and all those.
What's the one you've got called?
Jura.
Is that an H or a U?
J.
Oh, J.
U-R-A. Are you googling it?
I'm googling it right this minute.
Do it. Very curious.
Oh, Jura. I have seen that. Sorry. They are also what's the other brand? So several brands like use the same machines.
Okay.
What are they called? Logic, maybe? Maybe it's Logic or something. But yeah, they do exist here. They do.
The bigger companies try to do the same, but if I like my parents have one, it's basically the same but then cheaper, and the coffee that comes out of it, it's just fucking garbage.
Mm. I mean, if there's enough flexibility in it, you can change enough settings, and you might be all right. But to be honest, but most people have no idea what they're talking about. I mean, the mere fact that Costa Coffee has just announced last month or the month before they're now that their new, even smokier, darker roast for more intense flavor. What a sack of shit! It's like saying, now I do barbecues where I burn the fuck out of everything so it tastes even more smoky. Well, no, I just want my meat cooked well. I don't want it to be burnt. Like coffee,
because my stream of thought is I prefer they do it like in numbers from 1 to fucking 11 or something in strength, and I just get espresso beans because I just like those the most. It's like I don't know if it's the right term for it, but it's the strongest.
Well, so if 1 to 11 is, so it tends to be 1 to 4 in this country. So I don't know what 100% we talk about, but 1 to 11, if that's talking about, sometimes people, those numbers aren't always the same. Even in Britain, they say 1 to 4. Now, sometimes that's to do with how it's roasted. Other times they call it the intensity rating, which means nothing, absolutely nothing. It's just a made up number of how shit that is.
I think this is what I use is like dark roast or something.
Yeah, see, a dark roast is trying to think like, say if you got a sirloin, right, and a ribeye and a rump, and then you burnt the fuck out of all of them, you wouldn't be able to taste the difference, would you?
Nope.
But if you cook them all so they're beautiful, they're not. Look, I like a blue steak, but let's, for everyone else's sanity, go with like a rare to a medium rare. And you would be able to go, okay, now that's a damn good steak. And then the rump, that's a pretty shit steak. It tastes all right, but it's not. You can tell it's a cheaper. It's a bit more chewy. There's more fat, that sort of stuff, right? You can definitely taste there's a difference in quality. If you go and get an Arabica or a Robusta bean, in fact, it doesn't matter what the bean is. Do you know there's like people, we talk about Arabica and Robusta. They're the two drinkable coffees. There's actually, from memory, about 150 species of coffee. Only 2 of them are drinkable. So they're the only ones that are farmed. The others are just beans that no one knows what the hell to do with. They just don't farm them because what would you do with those? Anyway, if you take a bean of high quality that's say, you know the altitude, and you know the way it was roasted, and you know the process, whether it was washed or not. You know everything that's sort of gone through that, the soil content, all those sorts of things, and then you roast it relatively lightly to like a medium, and then you drink it. It's full of body. It's full of, you can taste more notes in it. Now, if you go as far as for cupping, which is a sort of, you make up a coffee and then you'll put it on a little spoon, you'll suck the coffee off the spoon as opposed to drink it, and it atomizes as it hits the back of your throat, a little bit like people do with wine, but it looks different, and it atomizes as it hits the back of your throat. Now, when you do that, you'll suddenly go, oh dear, this is a whole different product. You can actually, you know, when people say notes of coffee, notes of blueberry, notes of earthy tones, blah blah, and you go, what does that mean? Sack of shit. You suddenly start to taste those things, and you can taste the difference. You take that, and then you take one of those horrifically burnt or cheap, nasty. Say if you didn't burn it right, you took one of those cheap, really low grade coffees that aren't roasted well, aren't grown well. They're not looked after. They got poor soil. The elevation is not good. The process, the harvesting is done the wrong time because they just need them. So some are green, some are really green, some are drying up a little bit. They're actually not consistent beans. And then you just roast those. And if you roasted them well, you would then, and took the one that was the beautiful single origin and this other cheap, technically a single origin, but junk, you would be able to massively taste the difference during cupping.
So it's all about quality.
It's all about quality. So if you then just take, you can basically say, I got this shit coffee. Now let's roast the daylights out of it. You get what they call first crack. And the first crack is as it starts to roast and becomes that light brown color. If you keep going, there's a section between there and what they call second crack. And second crack is ultimately burned. It's too far. It's gone. And so part of the beauty of roasting is you learn where you want that to start and stop. Now, the machines obviously are turning it all over and while it's moving, agitating it so that you don't end up with some burnt and some green. They all end up the same. But when someone like Costa Coffee is buying millions of tons of coffee at a time, and they know the cross section of the planet are morons. They're just drinking stuff for the caffeine, not for the flavor, or not for the actual genuine flavor of the coffee, just for the hit of coffee. And the brain associates hit of coffee with strong coffee. Even to the point where they say things like, "Oh, I really like a strong coffee." They don't actually know what that means. Strong isn't actually a good description of what that is. So they'll take the cheapest bean they can that they can buy in the biggest bulk, and then they burn it or virtually burn it. And so it's so roasted, it just tastes like really strong, in inverted commas, coffee. So 99% of people have no idea what they're talking about. Whereas someone like me drinks that and goes, I can taste this is really burnt. It's far over roasted. I would much rather, and also the barista can't ruin it as much because it's already pretty ruined. All you got to do is put water through it, and yeah, you can make a better one or a worse one. If your extraction period is too long, or your grind settings, say your grind is far too coarse, you're going to end up with water running through it too fast. It's going to be heavily under extracted.
Fucking hell.
Wow.
There's so much about it. Fucking hell.
Dude, so I'm giving you crap about your machine, but actually your grinder is far more important. I'd rather a 50-pound coffee machine and a 2,000-pound grinder than a 2,000-pound coffee machine and a 50-pound grinder. The grinder is way more important than 90% than the coffee machine. 90% of the time. There's so much. I want to start a podcast on coffee. If I had time to start a podcast on coffee.
You could fucking japper on endlessly about it.
I literally could forever.
As I've just noticed.
Yeah, I shouldn't though. But anyway, so we started off talking about America, and I was saddened by not finding a single good cup of coffee in America. But I genuinely enjoy America. I wanted to say I'm coming next year, but I've had to kick myself in the ass and say, right, think sensible. 12 months is not a long time. You actually booked for 4 months out or something, so that's 7-8 months, maybe 10 if you're lucky.
It is fast.
You're never getting that money back together. Call it 2 years, and then you can actually genuinely build up to 2 years. And so I think I'm going back in 2 years. I reckon I'll take the boy this time. I think that'll be good.
Yeah,
he'll be 16 by that point, and he'll love it.
Yeah, I think so too. I have to wait around for that. I don't know if I'm going next year, but I'm definitely going to go again.
I'm going to go I think the year after next I'm going to go, and I'm going to have a table.
Oh,
and I'm going to have a table. Yeah.
Oh,
I think I've worked it out.
We have to chat. We have to end this fucking podcast, and then I want to talk to you about that.
I think I've worked it out. I think I've worked out how to clear a table.
Okay. Yeah. Well.
Yeah. There was something I did not see a single one of, not a single one, and
yeah, I heard you say this.
Did you? I didn't say what it was, though, did I?
No, you didn't. No.
And the price has got to be right, and I reckon you can clear out. I reckon I could pay for my trip by taking a bag full of products.
Fucking do it. Do it. So, but yeah, America in general just blew my mind because I didn't think I would like it as much as I did. And this road trip I did with my dad, driving like on those big ass roads and stuff. That's not special. The car obviously is cool, but it's not that special. But it's just do they call it like patriotism over there? Mm-hmm. It's like every 15 minutes we would pass a flag, like an American waving flag.
I love that.
I've never seen flags so big. I've never saw the flag of our country.
People have got like a little tiny house with a flagpole that's got a flag half as big as the house out the front.
This was like a thing. I think every city or every town or I don't know what it was. Maybe some American explained this to me, and it just waved in this magical way. It was very, and I think it's just a reminder to everyone, like, you're in America,
Yeah.
You can be whatever you want to be, but you're an American first.
Yeah, I love that. And
that feeling. I don't know how to give words to that, but that feeling.
I like that.
Yeah.
No, I think you did that well with your foreign conversion. You did quite well there to make that make sense.
Okay. Well, thanks, I guess.
That's all right. Did you know it's 20 to 10 to 10? It's way past my bedtime.
Yeah, it's also way past your normal recording time in your own podcast.
That's right. And because an hour of our podcast went missing, I've now got to try to work out how to get it back and so I can upload it.
I'll just send you this one.
Yeah.
You can just change the intro.
Yeah. 2 podcasts the same. See who gets the most listeners.
I don't know anything about the numbers. Keith is saying we're doing very well, but I don't know.
Well, I joke about that, Matt, because I have looked maybe 3 times in the entire time we've done podcasts, or maybe 4. I don't know or care. I've said that plenty of times. I actually, if I cared,
don't care either.
I'd probably stop. So
I never I don't care about that, and what I've like. I don't have like every hobby I have turns into a job, basically, and so it's fucking annoying in a way. But I enjoy this very much because it's just every Thursday night I'm doing the podcast, and that's it, and that's just for me, and I love it. So I don't care if anyone listens or everyone listens.
It's all right for you. You're like Kaka. You just come on here, say your words, say mean things, and then disappear and let someone else edit it and upload it.
Yeah, basically. I'm very thankful to we did a great job on getting Albert on here because he basically made it like it's also if I don't show up, it doesn't matter now
that's your whole life, isn't
didn't
it?
show up.
That's what your wife said to me that time we had a conversation. If he doesn't turn up, it doesn't matter.
You never talk to my wife.
I don't even know your wife's name.
Danielle.
I'd like to say I'll never forget that, but I definitely will.
We say it very different, so this is the English conversion of it. Daniela.
I can say that too. I mean, I won't remember that either, but that's fine.
No, doesn't matter. I'm not going to say anything about your wife.
No.
I'm trying to remember her name now. Katie. Lovely Katie.
She is.
Okay. This was... I need to read out patron shit, but I'm not going to do it. Fuck them.
Oh, really? Right, we're not going to read out patrons.
I think we have 3 new ones. I saw that.
Oh, awesome. Do they want to come over to my podcast and be 3 new ones of mine? They probably already are my patrons.
We have we have guests like almost every week, and we always that's like if you have to join up
becoming a patron.
Yeah, and they do. So it's basically we just get like new people on and just make them become a patron.
What you say to people? We'd love you to come on, but only patrons are allowed on.
Yeah. So it's either that or fuck off.
Wow, that's
No, we don't do that. But like on air, we always try to
give them grief and make them do it.
Yeah. And some do. Most do.
Wow, really?
Most do. Yeah. Yep.
Jeez.
And we have sponsors too. Oh man, Keith, fucking put the right Pelican Paste ad in here. Did you listen to it? Did you hear our Pelican Paste?
The one where
ad?
you stole Honor's voice.
Don't you think that's beautiful?
I thought it was horrifically bad.
It was beautiful. I just know for a fact that you fucking laughed your ass off about that.
Yeah, it was plagiarism at worst.
Yeah, don't care. Keith was actually scared you were going to fucking sue us or something. I was like, this fucking guy, he's not going to sue anything. No, he doesn't even know how to fucking sue anything about anyone.
What are you talking about? I had to do it a few months ago when I worked at that other company, but I know exactly what I'm doing. But, but I just wouldn't. I don't actually care. You can do whatever the hell you want. Life is too quick to give a crap about any of that sort of stuff.
Every time we play that ad, it brings me so much joy. It's a very good edit.
It's not. It's horrific. It's like literally the worst edit ever.
But it's so bad that it makes it very funny. It's very, very funny. Then with his voice, Pelican Paste. The contrast between Honor and that American voice is great.
He doesn't even try to do an accent.
Who? Honor?
No. Keith or whoever did it. Who did Travis.
Travis Haynes himself.
He didn't
Mr. Pelican Paste.
Yeah, he should have put a Kaglar voice on.
I have something, a little newsflash about Pelican Paste.
Pelican Paste is junk in comparison to knife wax. I don't know, I've never used it.
We're going to edit Pelican Paste over your knife wax. Yeah. We could probably have fucking AI do that. Just every time you say knife wax. Yeah. We have to do something like that. But Pelican, the manufacturing of Pelican Paste is coming to Europe.
Oh, gosh.
The one and only Jan Bicker is going to make all the Pelican.
I love
Paste
your dad,
stuff.
by the way. He was such a good dude. I meant to message him the other day, just say thanks for being such a good dude. Like he literally washed my clothes. He was like my mum.
What a guy, isn't it? What a guy.
He's such a good dude. And what I thought was the funniest is I can't remember who it was. Oh, it was Jared. Jared had a full conversation with your dad at Neil's party thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he thought it was Lawrence Lake. Not Lawrence Lake. No, sorry, not Lawrence Lake. He thought it was Bob Gore. He talked to him for like half an hour and thought he was talking to Bob Gore.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. And he was talking the other day on the Triple T podcast, and he was like, yeah, I thought I met him, and then I met Bob the next day, and Bob's like, hi, and he's like, we met yesterday, Bob. Bob's like, what? I wasn't at the party. It was.
Oh my God! Really?
Yeah. And I'm thinking, hang on, Matt's dad's foreign. Surely he could tell that his voice was different, but he just thought he was just being quiet. He just was like,
"Oh my God, that was
how good's that?"
I didn't hear that one.
Apparently, they look very similar, and now I need to see a photo of them together. Anyway,
that's very funny. Yeah, Jerry's a great guy too.
He's a great guy. I had such a good conversation with him. Actually,
yeah.
Do you know what's funny? All these guys in these podcasts, I really like them all. I often listen to them and just think, I really like this guy. I can't believe how many people don't think they're going to like me. How many people think I'm a prick from the podcast? How weird's that? I don't know why it comes across that way, but
it's a thing.
I've heard several people say on podcasts now, oh, I met Toby. He's actually he's way cooler in real life. I actually thought, like Jared said, and he was careful of his words, but he said, I didn't think he was going to be a nice guy. Like I didn't think.
You know what it is?
No, because I get super upset.
No, it was because the way we podcast, like the way we give each other grief and stuff.
Shit. People just think I'm a prick.
We do that way more than the Americans do. Like if they make a joke, like fucking housemaid is snapping at Jeff Vader or whatever, and I'm listening to that like, oh, okay, the way we handle each other, like on this side of the water, is very different. I think.
Wow, it keeps making me think. Wow, I come across badly, like really badly, because several Americans have now said. He's loads of nice. Like I thought I wasn't going to like him.
I think that Americans are like the hospitality is different or something.
I just think like Americans are pussies.
Yeah, I think the same. Bunch of pussies. If they didn't had the guns, they were fucking useless.
But they do.
Yeah, that's why they have the guns. I think.
That's why they need them. That's why they can't give them up.
Yeah, bunch of pussies.
All right. Now, I know it's past my bedtime because my wife's come into the bedroom, got into bed, turned the lights off, kissed me on the cheek, and is now going to sleep next to me. I'm sitting on the end of the bed.
That's
sad, isn't it?
yeah, that's pretty sad. You're talking. Oh my God, go get her.
No, I'm sure there's no love going to happen.
No, I don't think so either.
She's going to sleep.
Okay, man.
But thank you for inviting me on your podcast for the 57th time.
Shut the front door.
I don't have wanker of the week. So
we don't do that anymore.
Well, that's sad because I was going to try to think of one.
Well, you can do one if you want. Let's make the other two fucks wankers of the week for not being here and making you do this to your wife.
Yeah. That'll do.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Job done.
Thanks,
right. See you later,
everyone.
his patrons that he didn't read out because he's not a very good podcaster. But if you want a good podcaster to be a patron too, jump onto the Fire and Steel podcast and come and be our patron. And we will say nice things about you sometimes.
Go do that. Go listen to Toby and what's his name again? Kegler. Yep, that one.
Little Evil.
Famous YouTuber.
That's right.
He's the only reason people listen to your podcast.
Look, not everybody. Maybe 97% of people.
Almost every. I listen because of you.
You don't listen. So all that's saying is
when I listen because of you.
All right.
Okay, man.
See you later, Matt's listeners.
Thank you.
The best episode you've ever had.
Music. Bye-bye.